Based in Washington, D.C., she has authored her first book of poetry, Falling, Love Struck, The God Poems, and our second poet will be, I lost my page, I'm sorry. And then we have Ellen McGrath Smith. She teaches at the University of Pittsburgh and in the Carlow University Mad Women in the Attic program. Her poetry has appeared in the American Poetry Review, Los Angeles Review, Quiddity, Cimarron, and other journals, and in several anthologies. After 2 chapbooks, Nobody's Jackknife is her first full collection.
Let me have this because I want to be on my feet.
Okay.
I need to be on my feet because I'm so scared. I have to be walking around. I've been on a lot of television shows and talked to a lot of people, but this is my first poetry thing. And I have to tell you, in my lexicon, poetry is right underneath music. It's the highest of the forms. So that somebody would want to publish my poems is just enormous. How many people here are poets? You all poets? Great! Because I believe that we are all poets and that it is inherent in the human condition to have beat and rhythm and rhyme and love of words. And the only problem that I've always found with poetry is I never knew where the line breaks went. And so I didn't dare show anybody my poems for a very long time. And I've written poems all my life, and some of my prose is poems also, but it's written out in long lines, and then you have to figure out that actually they're poems in sentences. I have some few books over here, including this that I'm most proud of, Falling, Love Struck, The God Poems, in which I'm trying to talk about how unbelievably beautiful this world is and how lucky we are to be born into it. And some of the poems, you have to really search for the God, but I'll show you that later. In my early poems, because I've never had the privilege of studying poetry or taking a PhD in poetry or an MA, or studying with any of the great poets, I had to follow structure very carefully. So all of my early poems are sonnet forms or careful structured things that we learned in high school. And rhyme is very important to me. So my early poems in particular rhyme. So the first poem I'm going to read is an early poem, and I call it The Basement Stair. I must tell you that although it's based in a reality, my mother did not say these things to me. The Basement Stair. There was a day when I, a little child, was dancing in the sunbeam's shaft that filed or streamed across the chambered hallways of my mind. I was all joy, no worlds were left to find. And laughing, whirled in rhythm with the luminous floats, the spirit lights like golden notes singing in the high air. What are you doing on the basement stair? It was my mother's voice. How dare you just in underpants and playing in the dust? You feel enhanced, I suppose, to be here smeared in dirt. She muttered more. I rose, protesting pride against my hurt. And still she would not stop. I've never seen the like. I felt tears back against the dike of my control, then overflow broken on her reproof. I dressed, she stood aloof, and then I saw the lights were only motes, gray dirt or grime against the cellar door, the kind of grit that floats in any moldy air. The sun was gone, so too the siren song. It happened long ago, but oh, what I would give to hear that song again, and like a child sieve dancing sunlight out of golden beams, in dirt stand dazzle at God's dreams. So that's your first God poem. poem. And this is another violently God poem. And the ones that I will read after this are not so evident. If I were to write a love poem to my beloved, if I were to write a love poem to my beloved, what words could come to show the grace, my joy, my all? My heart is melting in the fire of his gaze, while words fall gray and cold, dry ash. Who can see the wind, known only by the veils of snow blown white across white fields, or in the silver quivering of leaves, a shudder of delight, like that of a girl locked in her lover's embrace when whispered breath blows kisses in her air? Who can taste the hum of honeybees, or smell the violent yellow of fall cottonwoods? My beloved comes, sometimes in the darkness of black night. I hear the silent radiance of his approach, and run then to the welcoming door. Throw wide the wood, and if I'm swift, I see the bending of the shining grass beneath his sandaled step, and everything is bowing before that gaze, and everything is shining with sheer praise. Okay, I'll relieve you of some of the others. Now come some of my later poems in which I'm old. This one is called Words, Words, Words. I'm losing my words, or my mind, one or the other. Groping for a name, a noun, the adjective that used to leap like a young goat off the cliffs of joy onto the page is now a stuttered shadow of a memory. They come back, the words return, drunk and reeling after a night at the bars. They lurch into the empty streets, bottles swinging, and shout, "Adjacent, Tapas, Ecru, Daisy Miller." Awake in bed, I grind my teeth, helpless against the green glass shattering on the dawn curbs. Curfew, origami, when what I needed was now hours gone. They slink off, laughing like felons on the prowl. Part 2. I dream how when I die, the words will all come back, falling in apple blossom blessings, paper whirligigs floating, falling through the silence majestically, white cranes curving to my tongue, taut and tangy to the touch. They'll flap one indolent wing to keep aloft, swoop, settle on my scorched skin like burning kisses. All the polysyllabic Latinates commingling with rough Saxon sounds as brash and coarse as crows. They trudge through the forests of our history, swords swinging, hacking out ransom, wreck, match, milk, muck, reek, crackle and axe, barn and cairn. They are homey and redolent with a smell of dirt or death, and we find Chinese, Spanish, Arabic, Yiddish, each word attesting to the endless migrations of humankind. And part 3. In my dream, the words snow silently from gunmetal skies, drift in piles and twirl light, wind-whipped, powder soft, these carriers of the fierce music of my life, buckled and booted for war, the huntsman's horn, the screech of wheel, laments of loneliness and love. They are choral bells, pealing forth their hope, faith, fears. They are canticles to the time we've known before this time around. In my dream, I wonder if it's words I'll miss the most when I depart, or whether words will wing in whatever heaven I'm assigned. I'd even want another incarnation here, if I could hear words tumbling from your beautiful sweet mouth, pouring from the bellows of your throat. Now, some of my poems are very dark, and that is because this world is very dark, and it is impossible sometimes to find the hand of God in this unbelievable sorrow that we live on earth. So this one is called Drinking Blood. Walking along the banks of the river in a dream, it came to him that we might drink water, think, instead of blood. An insight equal to that of Abraham these thousands of long years gone about slaughtering our own sons. Though we haven't done such a good job of it, have we? Sending them to war and handing out the knives of sacrifice. It must be part of human nature to drink blood. Consider the news. Count what gunshot wounds, the bombs, the rough and tumble of everyday time's turmoil, the quarreling with each side insisting on the right to claim right passionately. Violence charges into our privacy, exuberant. It filters through the air, intruding even on my telephone. I think it wise, therefore, to keep a fast on news, lest horror cast so bleak a net we can't unhook our feet from tangled and despairing saints. Saints is S-E-I.